Good morning. I have to just smile and laugh when I turn these things on over the last couple of Sundays because you look at my eyes, you can't tell how much makeup I have on. I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted, and I bet you are too. So I titled this, "Are we here yet?" And the good news is we're getting there. We're getting close. If you're a parent, you're placating like, "We're getting close." And if you're an adult, you're kind of like, I really hope this happens soon, right? Okay. So I want to explore what's going on and put it in a perspective, in a lens that I think you're going to find super interesting. And we're going to start with the solar flares because on Friday we had 7 M class solar flares. So we were going C, one, C2, C8, see this, see that. And it was pretty, it was pretty. I mean, if you look at just the first 2 weeks of April, it's just a lot of C classes. And I think the highest one we had this week that was measured by the C was the C9 on Wednesday, right? And on Thursday here, it was at a C5, but then something started to happen Friday morning, early hours of Friday morning. But not but Pam Youngin started measure. She starts measuring solar flares on the daytime by like 8 a.m. to the following 8 a.m. because she writes her stuff at 8 a.m. So like this is what's happened since I wrote. And Friday, she said there were 7 M class flares. And if you look at M class flares, they're the tower moments, right? And I like this card because the tower is kind of like, it's not totally destroying you. It's hitting you with a burst of energy and going, what do you need to take off? What do you need to remove in order to be viable, in order to be able to move forward? So it's like tap, 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 tap. So 7 times on Friday. And we're like kind of going, wow. And then Saturday, on the day of the full moon, we had, what was the total here? 10 M class solar flares, right? So, the chaos was just getting super intense during this full moon. A lot of drama about the full moon, about Venus, about bringing things, or Libra, about bringing things into balance. And Venus rules Libra. So it was about beauty, balance, integration, like knowing who you are and being and sort of like beginning to identify where you are. Do you stay on the fray and get torn off balance, or do you start to move towards the center where it's quieter and it's more in balance? And so what I'm saying is let's go to the center. And I love this picture of the magician, which is no matter what happens outside, I'm going to sit on this lily pad, right? And I'm going to observe what's going on in the world because it's crazy. So we have some big sunspots, and if you listen to Stephen Burns, I'm sorry, I'm just like all over the place today. If you listen to Stephen Burns, he's going to tell you that we are in some sort of a bubbling. Like there's a bubbling going on right now, and we don't know what these M classes are going to do. But when you have 7 one day, 10 the next day, it's like something's getting going. Okay. So I've been listening to Consciously Erin on YouTube. She does a quick 5 to 7 minute video introducing what happened with the Schumanns in the afternoon of the day before, in the early morning of her broadcast. And it was on April 11th, right? Which would have been on Friday in the wee hours of the morning. So it would be Thursday night when you're asleep, Friday before you wake up, was this huge wave, this white wave that you can see it just coming down into the Schumann. So if you haven't seen the Schumann lately, go check it out. And then what we've been doing all day, Friday afternoon, Saturday during the new moon or full moon, and today is we're integrating that. So just know that there's been some known from the solar flares and some maybe unknown, like where did that big wave of light come from? And so now I'm sort of scattering around and picking up what other people are saying who are not just measuring the Schumann or the flares. So Amanda Lawrence posts on Facebook. She's a quiet, gentle soul who sees energy really well and doesn't post a lot. But when she does, she has something to say. And she said that that there's this huge energy frequency that's going to arrive today. And she posted it at what would have been 6:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and said, within the next couple of hours, I think it was 5:30, yeah, 5:30 Pacific time, so 6:30. Within the next couple of hours, next 2 to 4 hours is gonna be this huge burst of energy that comes onto the planet, which is like now, like between 7:30 and 9:30. If it hits that, if it delays it just a little bit, it might be going on right now. So my question is what are you feeling? Well, sometimes I want to make sure that I'm not reading these things and then searching around to put some meaning to it, as much as using it as a validation tool, which is, oh yeah, something's really up today. I'm exhausted. I want to crawl back in bed. I've got a tarot salon today with 12 ladies coming over. So nap time isn't going to happen until about 5 today. So second thing I wanted to bring up was, and let's look at this frequency. I love the high priestess, the priestess in on the Thoth deck, because this is that frequency. This is what happens when that frequency starts to hit us and start to really expand off of us. And this is what our bodies are doing right now. And we're also having our pineal gland, our antenna, totally awakened, right? Whoa, this is just exactly where we are right now. And yoga, yeah, good 20-minute yoga sounds perfect. I will do that. Bopping between the worlds, love it. Okay, so Steve Rother, he channels Chiron. I've been following him on Spirit Library for the last 15 years. I mean, he's been doing this a long time. And the older he gets, the less I'm sort of inclined to want to follow him, because sometimes it just seems like it's not as much new information. And then occasionally something will catch my eye and I'll be like, oh, wow, Chiron, there you go again. He did something on anxiety. And basically what he said is that we are creatures of habit, creatures of patterns. We know what time we get up. We know how we like our coffee or our tea. We know what our schedules are. And we know what to expect. When something changes, especially energetic from the outside, right? When something changes, what happens is our nervous system goes, wait, what was that? And then we go into this high level of hypervigilance, and our nervous system starts to rattle, and our nervous system and our anxiety is picking up on these frequencies, right? So it's usually something external, right? From way out here that's coming in. And what happens is that our anxiety is like, what else is going to happen? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I love that analogy, because what that says is that when we have something like a pulse come in, we've associated it with something scary, something negative, something hard, as opposed to, ooh, I just got plugged into something that just is going to burst me open and make all of these codes inside of me. And look at all the fractals and the what do I want to say? Geometric shapes and all of the things that are coming out. And this is the justice card, which I love. This is how justice looks like in a Libra, right? So I like that idea that he's associating very nicely for us, that anxiety is coming from something external, that, and I'm going to say that is frequency based, right? And then Shakina Rose is also someone from Spirit Library. I read her every once in a while, and Pam Youngins put her on her Facebook this morning or yesterday, and I was reading it and thinking, oh, thank goodness you posted this, because I want to bring this to each of you. All right. So what she's talking about is that we are dimension shifting right now. We are moving rapidly. I mean, if you look at this guy, this guy's going so fast that everything that belongs to him in the past is now like falling away, right? So as we're dimension shifting, we're having these new perspectives, this new territory showing up in front of us. And we are like bridging between the old world that we were in and the new world. And these frequencies are adjusting really quickly. So this is sort of where we are. And she listed off some symptoms that I thought were absolutely perfect. So one of them is losing track of time. Like, I know that I do this on Sunday. I know that Mondays are usually my day off. Tuesdays I have my Patreon calls. Like I have my outside of daily, clients and work. I have these structures built in throughout the week. And I can't tell you how many times this week I went, what day is it? Is it Tuesday? And oh yeah, I don't have my granddaughter on Tuesdays. I have her on Wednesdays. And I'm not forgetful. I just could see the calendar sort of moving, right? So losing track of time or days or understanding what the 24-hour thing looks like is becoming more of the new norm. And we're like, oh no. Disappearing and reappearing objects. Sometimes the faster we move, it's like I put my keys here next to my purse. I'm going to go brush my teeth, get the stuff I need to do before I come out. And I come out, my purse is there, and my keys are not there. And I'm like, I know I put them there. Where are they? I'm not losing it. And no, I'm not losing it. Sometimes I just want to write down keys here only so I could, and the time, and go like, when I come back, am I still in the same time frame? Like, what is going on? So, and then I'll come back and my keys are back where they were before. And I'm like, no, I moved them over by my purse. But this is sort of an interesting, it's like little tiny crazy making things that you're like, what's going on? Internal body vibrating. It's almost as if, and I think it was Erin, unconsciously Erin, who said all she has to do is barely put her teeth together, and her teeth are going, and she can just feel that vibrating inside. And I thought, yep, I have had several bouts of that over the last couple of weeks. Heart fluttering or palpitations, usually in the middle of the night. Man, those started 2 years ago for me. And I and it's kind of like let's not diminish medical intervention at all, but just know that sometimes when these vibrations are happening, we're not sure whether this is a health issue or a vibration issue. And how do you talk to someone in ER when they've done all the tests and there's nothing there? Your heart looks totally normal. Um, Creative overload, like so much stuff coming in that you're like, oh, I just wrote 30,000 words on my new book. And oh, got a new idea for a tarot spread. Oh, gonna make some fairy houses. And it's like for my granddaughter when she comes over, and it's like all these great ideas coming in, right? And then the other part of it is like almost having time standing still and going, great, I can grab that and bring it in and flush it out. Because what we're doing is we're bringing information in, and if you can see, she's got this really long staff, and it's up in the heavens, and it's coming down with this diamond, and she's bringing it into the 3D. This is the Princess of Dis, one of the favorite cards in the Thoth deck, and I love her because she's also pregnant, and she has the Aries horns on her. So it's kind of like as we're leaving the winter and the green grass is coming up on spring, she's bringing something in. And I think this could be the card that we use all of March, April, and early May, especially up here in the mountains. It's not even spring yet, barely. Okay. We're having body, emotional, and spiritual purging, whether it's digestion, whether it's crying, whether it's like, like these moments of come to God experiences. You're just like, whoa. Crying and releases and intense dreams. These are just some of the symptoms that she said that I thought were just pretty outrageous, pretty cool. So here's some thoughts. I had some suggestions in the last video to bring some of the indigo stuff back in. And I've been doing a deep dive. And as I said, I wrote 30,000 words on this new follow-up for the Indigo Assignment, a book I wrote in 2022. So we know that the indigos arrived in mass in 1977. That meant that sprinklings of them arrived in the 10 to 20 years beforehand, even 30 years, so that they would be supporters and guides for this main group that came in. They hold the Blu-ray frequency of truth and justice. Now, that sounds pretty cool until you realize that internally, the frequency that you hold that impacts everything you're around is truth and justice. So when you're around someone who's deceiving you, someone who's holding a lie, someone who's lying to themselves about addiction, it becomes really difficult for them to be in the room with you or to like you or to understand what happens to them as a parent or a child or a partner or a boss or a colleague, right? When this person walks in and they're just like, I just want her to leave, right? Because this truth and justice has been um, on our planet now for 48 years. If we go to 1977, right? And it's either rapid dismantling or slow, steady, piece by piece, pulling systems apart, dealing with targeted frequencies that were aimed at how do we shut down these two components within these new frequency seeded humans, because if we can shut this down, then it will stop dismantling. And so um, I want to say that the indigo has endured food additives, uh, sound variations. I mean, you go as I will start to share this more as I develop it more into tangible pieces that we can measure within as I write this book. But just understand that the attempts to try to shut down this information, to try to shut down this frequency, means that for 48 years, everything in our world has amped up to make sure that this doesn't work. And the more we anchor this frequency, and that's why I like the fact that she's standing here on the ground, that the more we anchor this frequency, that things start to happen more rapidly, right? The chaos, outside here gets louder and intensifies. Um, the we are in an external spiritual frequency war, which is let's bring it down faster, and the other one's like let's go really fast with this. And those who are old, archaic, who've benefited through deception are starting to unravel, and a lot of it is collapsing under the weight of the falsehoods, the lies, the ways that they've set life up. And I think that makes sense if you start to look at what's really going on in our political system here in the United States, in our global, looking at our stocks, our money, our education, our health, everything. It's like the indigo energy is unraveling everything. And we're exhausted and we're angry and we're impatient and at the end of our fuses. Ainge Stoic, wrote this phenomenal piece of astrology about 3 days ago on Mars, where he's foul language, funny. I was reading it out loud to a girlfriend, and I'll post it um, in on Facebook if I can. I'll just roll it over to my Facebook so you can see it. It was hilarious. Yet we are more open and our frequencies are shining and things are happening more quickly because it's not just us anymore. We have that domino effect of like the indigos started the frequency, and then behind the indigos came these crystals, which are unconditional love in this remapping of structures, and like they're redefining structures and systems. And then behind them is the rainbow, which is the sort of end of division and polarity and the archetypal fusion that we were so stuck in. So things are happening really rapidly as these frequencies shine. So I have 5 tips for you, and this is just so much to talk about. So hang in there with me. Before I get to the tips, 2 things. I have a Patreon station and I put channel, and I put all of these articles on there to read. And there's a really good chat always going on. So come join us. Second thing is I'm a coach and a tarot reader. So I'm working with strategic tips for you on multi-dimensional support, on frequency support, on understanding how to take care of yourself. So by all means, go to my website down below and book a session with me in tarot, see how it feels. And if you want to do some coaching, come on over. I'd love to talk to you. All right, tip number 1, if you're feeling overwhelmed, this is a Steve Rother tip. Set your marker ahead, which is something like, wow, when I know what my real role is and I'm rested and I'm more balanced, then I know that I've made it, and I can create that a little bit at a time right now, so that when there's a marker when you get there, you're like, oh wow, I created this. I started to envision that this was possible, that I could pair this frequency with this purpose, right? And then when you set that marker ahead, you're not going, oh, I don't know where it's going and I feel out of control. You're like, no, I'm working on grounding and I'll know when I'm really grounded. So you set your markers ahead, number one. Number two, your nervous system is overloaded. So multitasking isn't going to work anymore. That's the part that we have to understand. And presence is like I would say that this is someone trying to do a lot of things, but they're not very present and they're not even noticing that something is going to happen, right? So the shifting into a more present mode where your breathing is more open so you can capture and you can bring down information, you can access what's coming in a lot easier. Okay. Number three, be conscious of the fact that there are frequency inhibitors out there, whether it's Wi-Fi. I turn my Wi-Fi off at night and I turn it back on in the morning after I've done my meditation and I'm ready to sort of access my phone or start to work. I just have it on a surge protector, the whole system, and I just turn it off. And everything goes down in the house and it's quiet. Remove processed food, remove fluoride, the food dyes. These are things that we've been hearing about for a long time, but we didn't know that they were actually designed as inhibitors to shut down our pineal gland and our frequency, right? So this and then help. What do I want to say? Help yourself by looking at what do I need to do to build my frequency. Now we can't change the frequency, but we can certainly unlayer it, which leads me to number four, which is you're going to unravel and you're going to pull off some of these things that have been shrouding you, and the real you is going to emerge. It's almost like when this real you starts to show up. My kids have watched me absolutely morph into a completely different human over the last 15 years. And part of them are like, and the other part are like, what is she doing? She sounds healthier. I don't know, right? So, but as you unravel, and emerge, it's going to be scary. It's going to be informative. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be freeing. And my suggestion is that you sort of share that unpeeling with the people around you that you love. Like, whoa, like I'm just noticing that I'm taking off some of the things I picked up from when I was a little girl through my mom and dad. And that means that I have a little bit more freedom to be who I am, right? And number five, have compassion. Wow, because people will simply disappear, they will fade away, our frequencies will change things, and we're sort of like, just have compassion because we're all doing different frequency growth at different times. Now, I know I went long and I apologize. I keep trying to shorten it, but it doesn't work. We have so much to cover. Thank you for being here. Please like and share it and put your questions and your comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Take care. Bye-bye.